All right, we got a doubleheader. So we have Bengals at 0-2 going against the Washington Commanders at 1-1. The Bengals are favored by a whole touchdown against the Commanders, which I think is a little much because a week ago, before they lost to the Chiefs, everyone was pretty much out on these Bengals team, but then they lose really well to the Chiefs, and now all of a sudden they are favored by a whole touchdown against the Commanders. I don't know about that.
Interesting team. The Bengals are an interesting team because you saw glimpses against Kansas City. We're like, okay, that's a team that I believed in. Then they lose, you're like, but you lost.
You still lost.
Yeah, they're just so interesting to follow because like you want to buy in, and then you kind of look into their team and what's been happening the last year or so with Chase, with Higgins, whatever, and Hendrickson. You're like, something's not right here, and it's just because they haven't made their players like feel like they're part of the grand scheme. Like Higgins. Like honestly, if I was Higgins, I would only play if I'm 1,000% healthy.
Higgins, it did come out. Higgins is going to play. He's not even on the injury report. So we're going to see Higgins and Chase, which will be fun. This is the second of the doubleheader. It's in Cincinnati. I think they call it the Jungle there. So the Bengals will host this one. In the last 4 head-to-head matchups, Cincinnati has won every single game against Washington, so they've had their number. Recently, let's get into players to watch. Let's start with the Bengals on offense. And I'm going to start with Mr. T. Higgins and, in parentheses, Jamar Chase. I want to see, is this the duo that we know they have the talent to, but is this the duo that's going to turn around this Bengals offense?
Yeah.
Are they going to provide the weaponry and the consistency and the big playability for this offense and for Joe Burrow to change our mind about what the Bengals can be this year?
Yeah, part of the allure and the fear of playing the Bengals, like, oh, I got to go against Chase and T. Higgins.
Yep.
Both are number one options for any team that they're on, but they just happen to be on the same team.
Yep.
And then we haven't seen them this year because of Higgins' injury stuff, and then Chase didn't have a camp, so week 1 he was just kind of getting into football shape. Now by week 3 he should be in okay shape. But now you wait for T. Higgins to get back in football shape. So now you're kind of wondering, like, are we going to see the best of these guys healthy at one point, and when is that going to happen? I hope it's tonight because Monday Night Football, you hope that they can show off. But
I also hope it's tonight because the Commanders have been absolutely terrible against the pass, particularly.
Yeah.
And so if it's not tonight, I think that's something to be worried about.
Yeah.
Because they should get whatever they want through the air or on the ground. Zach Moss there getting a little bit more of the carries than we thought. We thought it was going to be a little more 50-50, but he seems like the guy. Bengals defensively, anyone you're keeping your eye on?
Yeah, Trey Hendrickson.
Me too.
This guy almost won the game against Kansas City single-handedly because he's a monster, and they don't want to pay him for some reason. But he's going to play well because he always does, because he's a gamer. He needs like a branding consultant. He looks kind of dumb. He has the long sleeves with like the tape on his fingers, like just look cool or something. Maybe that's why they're not paying him. Because he doesn't look cool.
Yeah, I mean, he's my guy to watch, too. 6 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 2 sacks in the year. Trey Hendrickson is the best player on this defense, is the guy who's going to make the big plays for this defense. And so, I'm watching him and seeing if he can corral this young rookie quarterback who is very, very mobile. Maybe not the thrower we'd hoped he'd be yet, but
very mobile.
Is very mobile. A lot of escape ability. Let's talk about this Commanders offense. Of course, I'm watching Jaden Daniels. I can't wait to see him in prime time. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So far through 2 games, 410 passing yards. Has not thrown a touchdown yet, but has not thrown an interception yet. I think both of those are kind of surprising for a lot of people. So completing 75% of his passes. It's just not very far down the field.
Yeah, and we thought that'd be a lot. He'd be a lot further down. In that a development, but he might just be a running quarterback this year. He might just have to live with it because.
Yeah, 2 rushing touchdowns, 132 yards.
He's also very eager to run, which means he's just not confident. So you might just see a lot of running, and I just hope he doesn't get hurt. Knock on wood, obviously. But yeah, I think if we see a step or two, I think this is gonna be a slow burn with him. I think this year just a building year. The Commanders they're not gonna win. Not gonna go to the playoffs this year unless he gets red hot. But don't get hurt and develop, and I think that's you're okay with that as a Washington fan.
Yeah, someone kind of coming on for the Commanders is Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
He's the leader of this backfield. Eckler is not what we thought he was going to be in this offense. He's cleared the number 2 to Brian Robinson's number 1. He's leading the Commanders in rushing yards, 173. Has gotten to the end zone 1 time, but averaging 86 yards per game, 6 yards per attempt. That's good for top 5 in the NFL. Also, doing it through the air, 4 catches, 52 yards. I think Brian Robinson, if if Jaden Daniels isn't able to throw the ball down the field, and we've seen McLaurin have terrible numbers. I know why they traded Jahan Dotson now, because he would be absolutely wasted because they're not going to throw him to him anyway. I think Brian Robinson is going to have to be the guy, the Robin to Jaden Daniels' Batman. Now let's go to the guy who has pegged Jaden Daniels as the next coming of RG3. Is a huge believer in Jaden Daniels. What are you looking for in this game?
Yeah, it's the running game for the Commanders is what I'm looking at to kind of slow down the Bengals defense. But this might be Jaden Daniels. This might be his big game. Look, the rookie quarterbacks have had okay weeks this week. I mean, Bo Nix played pretty well. Caleb Williams got his first touchdown throw. So let's see what Jaden Daniels does. If he kind of separates himself a little bit from the pack this week. Drake May got in a little bit too as well. So we'll see. But I'm looking forward to seeing how Jaden Daniels does on the big stage.
Tell you what, there's no front runner for offensive rookie of the year besides Neighbors. I think it's pretty open. Like these quarterbacks have because here's what sucks about rookie of the year. Neighbors could have a great season, and if Jaden Daniels gets hot for 9 games and throws for 12 touchdowns and no receptions, he's gonna win it because he's a quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback's gonna be most favored. Offense is gonna be kind of next.
Yeah,
an offense.
So
unless you're a tackle and shutting out T.J. Watt, that's not gonna count.
Yeah, Joel, he's pretty impressive. But
yeah, I think
he's fun and
be the leading guy.
Yeah, I just thought he'd be further along passing. He just doesn't really trust. I don't think himself or the system. Cool guy Cliff isn't getting. I don't know what's happening.
Also,
there.
are we a little concerned that him being exclusively a running quarterback at his size is not going to last the whole season?
Yeah, he's not built like the other running quarterback. I mean, Lamar Jackson does it, but he's really smart about how he runs.
Right, and he also beefed up for a lot.
But Jaden Daniels plays like Josh Allen, but looks like Lamar Jackson. If you watch him,
hits, man.
You'll see in tonight's game, he runs around, throws his body around like you shouldn't be doing that, kid. Let's learn to slide. Let's learn that sometimes punts are the best thing for your career.
Yeah, he better learn, or else he really will be the next RG3.
Yeah, just knee giving out. God, it seems like a long time ago now.
If you can, is there someone on defense to watch for the Commanders? I have Cleveland Farrell because I couldn't find anyone.
Allen and obviously Darren Payne, the two interior linemen. Yeah. That's the sexiest I can get with this defense.
Defense sucks.
I mean, they're like just patched together. I thought they'd be better than what they are now, but they just don't seem to be clicking.
They're really bad.
But Dan Quinn's a great offensive hire.
Yeah.
That's the one hiring that we were never on board with, was Dan Quinn, because you're like, you're just another retread of a guy who can't win as a football coach, and you're just kind of seeing it.
I forgot about that hire at least 3 separate times during the offseason.
Yeah. And terrible, and it's just it might be highlighted tonight because on the other side, it might get ugly. I don't know. It probably will get ugly actually. But I see the Bengals coming out first half 27-3 or 6, and then it's just
It could be a really bad night for Jaden Daniels if Burrow comes out and gets an early lead and he has to put the ball.
He has to throw.
I think it's gonna be really bad.
But for fantasy, Jaden Daniels, fantastic. He's going to run the ball a million times.
All right, let's pick this game. I think we've already made our picks, but let's let everyone know about our picks. I'm picking the Bengals.
Yeah, I got Cincy, and I got the over. Cincy, they're going to ball out.
Draw.
Bengals take this one. Yeah, they can't afford to lose this game, so I'm going with the Bengals on this one.
Guys, your camera's out, but make your picks.
Bengals. Hail to the Commanders. And I'm just kidding, Bengals.
One way. Okay, real quick. How do the Commanders win this game? Is it basically if Joe Burrow doesn't play well?
Yeah, Joe Burrow
Cincinnati bus
hurts
crashes.
himself.
If Burrow's wrist injury is a real thing, and if Jaden Daniels has a breakout.
Let's watch every time Burrow gets a bottle tonight. Make sure it's like, because that theory was like he had to use his other hand to lift his right hand.
Crazy.
It's like, or he's just tired. He plays football. He wants to just, I don't know.
Maybe they take a page out of that of Niners, how they beat the Jets, and they just keep the Bengals off the field with a running game that has been pretty good.
Brian Robinson's pretty good.
So between Brian Robinson, Eckler, and Jaden Daniels, they just keep the Bengals off the field. Maybe that's the key. But I think this is just a tough game.
Yeah, hopefully they're doing this again though this season, right? They're doing the double headers, so this would be great, America.
Awesome.
Goodell's making you choose which one you love more, which one of your kids you love more. What do you have 2 fantasy guys going in different games? You have to like flip back. There's no red zone for this.
That's happened. That happened to me several times.
There's no red zone for Monday Night Football games. That should be it.
Yeah, that's
They
so
should do
messed
that if they're going to do this. Do
Yep.
like a dual screen.
That's the show for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining us on this Monday Night Football preview. Hope you have a good time. We joked around a lot about these not being the best games, but it is football, so please enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly.
Responsibly.
Please don't drink too much because you're bored.
Yep.
And go
Talking
Birds.
to you, Buffalo. Bunch of alcoholics over there.
Okay.
Jeez.
Have a good week.